Hello, everyone. All right, this is the day that we were looking for. We got it. So, my tone on this whole market changes. I now go from neutral, where I expect anything and everything to happen, to now neutral with the emphasis towards buy signal because we got one today on the NASDAQ 100, which I'll show in a second. And now I'm looking to go long stocks with strong patterns in larger and larger position sizes. So today the NASDAQ rallied 1.65%. After hours, it is exploding higher. I'm not sure exactly how much it's up, but you can easily tack on another 1.5% the last time I checked. It was up over 3% on the day at one point. And as you can see, the MACD and TSV, they are racing to overbought territory. So it could be a situation where overbought stays overbought. Maybe they get overbought, work off their overbought, and the market continues higher. But either way, we have these oscillators trending in the right direction. Russell to or Same thing with stochastics. RSI is now in a clear uptrend, but once again, stochastics nearing that overbought territory. So, it's not like that we got that powerful signal down here when we were oversold, unfortunately. We're just now getting it, and it's a pocket pivot point signal on the NASDAQ. Russell 2000, not a pocket pivot point signal. It's lagging, so I just want to get back to that really quick, but want to get back to that later. But really quickly, moving on to the NASDAQ 100, you can see this above average volume move with a pocket pivot point signal above the 250-day moving average. That's by proxy a switch to a buy signal. So we're under an operational buy signal on the NASDAQ 100. And with the NASDAQ looking really solid, it's now time that I can start looking to increase position size in new long positions. Got some new longs tonight. Want to really increase position size, but guess what? Timing is everything in life, and this market hasn't lined up. I mean, I tell you what, before 2008, timing just was on my side all the time. It felt like. Probably wasn't the case. Hindsight's 2020, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some of the bad moments because they don't appear that bad now. But once again, earnings are next week in almost every name that we got a long signal tonight, so can't get crazy just yet. But the good news is the market's given us a clear signal that we can start looking for more powerful days of pullbacks. To me, pullbacks are buyable now, so we'll see how it plays out. But the S&P 500 also had a very powerful day. Above average volume, pocket pivot point signal. All of the oscillators are in confirmation. Unfortunately, stochastics is near the high end. But overall, you've got every index showing signs that it definitely wants to rally. The Dow Jones Transportation Average missed out on a pocket pivot point signal, but it too has all of its oscillators and the volume on its side now. The biggest disappointment today was the Russell 2000. Now, I added an SRTY hedge, not yesterday, but that was our evening signal. We got a great fill this morning because it gapped down, thank goodness, at 29.45, and it only went out on 29.24. So we only lost 21 cents on the position from open to close, which I tell you what, on a day like today, I would have expected SRTY to have completely failed. And by completely failed, half of my sell stops below these lows, and the final half is below this low. So I would have thought it would have blown through those lows and then blown through these lows. So the fact that the SRTY was basically range bound in between the open and low of yesterday, i.e. an inside day, it's kind of a little depressing because you really want to see the Russell 2000 lead on the upside. And though the oscillators mainly confirm, only 3 out of 4 confirmed. RSI still hasn't made a higher high. So it's kind of weird, excuse me, to see weakness in the Russell 2000 when the market's starting to look strong. And, based on stocks like McDonald's, GE, and what Amazon's doing tonight, it looks like that this is a big cap rally, which once again, gives hint that we're in the later stages of a long-term bull market that started back in 2008. It seems like it's all about big caps, right now. And I tell you what, Microsoft you can see after hours. And I tell you what, if that's where we're going, excuse me, and once again, small caps are not going to join. I just don't see major sustaining power, and or maybe this is the last leg. Everybody, just like in 2000, sees all the big cap stocks moving, and then they all pile in, and once again, it's going to be too late. But we'll see. This is all speculation. You got to think out of things that happen at the same time. This could be one massive fake out, and tomorrow we got a massive distribution day down 3%, and we crashed to new lows. I've got every contingency plan ready. That's why I operate with stops. and that's why we'll always operate with stops, so nothing ever really destroys me. The only mistake that I made today in my trading is that yesterday I got a long signal in Docs. Docs was a was a used to be a CanSlim quality stock. It now has an earnings per share of 67, making it not CanSlim quality. However, it's still in my CanSlim quality scan, so it produced a signal yesterday. Look at this signal. Beautiful. This is a CanSlim stock. We're long. We're only long 1% because it was only in the CanSlim scan, not confirmed anywhere because we were still under neutral signal. But you can see today it worked beautifully, up 2.75%. So once again, more reasons why I should go ahead and take the long signals. Most of those stocks I'm long, earnings were great. Skechers is gapping down after hours, but I'm already completely out of it thanks to the October move. I had too tight of stops, but so sue me, it's paid off now. And basically, bottom line is that we did have some signals out there. Let's get rid of some of those lines. Snows, looking good. CHDN got a nice pocket pivot point signal. OCLR and Zixi are two earnings winners to watch, especially intraday. BRCM earnings are on the 26th, so I think that's Monday, so that's definitely no good. SS&C pocket pivot point signal. GoDaddy with a nice, pocket pivot point signal. But getting to the actual long positions, first one, EURN. This is confirmed. This is a CanSlim quality name, confirmed in my BOP for at least green BOP for 20-day scan, price volume BOP surge scan, and it's also an IPO, so it gets some added weight that it's an exciting IPO. The unfortunate part is that EURN has earnings on the 29th, so we don't have a whole lot of time before a potential gap down, and this stock is a gappy kind of stock because it is a European-based company, so it's not going to be a smooth ride. So 1% for CanSlim. Normally it'd be 1%. Now that we got a clear signal, and after a very oversold market where the VIX got extreme and the Investors Intelligence Survey got extreme, normally then be 1% each. So instead it's going to be 1% CanSlim, and then for being in the BOP IPO and price volume BOP scan, we'll give it another percent. So this is only going to be a 2% long position instead of maybe 2 for CanSlim, 1 for BOP, 1 for price volume BOP, for instance, because of earnings. So it's going to be 2%, but normally it'd be 2, 3. This would be a 4% position, but because of earnings, 2%. Sorry, I wish earnings were out of the way. They're not, but that's just the way it is. NHTC, also CanSlim quality name, not confirmed anywhere else. Unfortunately, NHTC has earnings on the 28th. That's just too soon. I can't really risk it. Without it being a pocket pivot point signal, unfortunately, everybody, this is a 1% long position for me personally. Once again, you can do whatever you want. I'm telling you a Kelly criterion way of coming about the methodology in the stock market, especially when you're coming up with earnings. It's just this is not a 5 or 10% or 20% signal, especially with earnings ahead. Now, LXFT, the next long signal, I have a buy stop just above these highs. That buy stop is now getting switched to a limit order, 66.80 at the highs. Even if it gaps up, I'll probably try to take some in the morning. This market's gapping up, so my limit actually might be, yeah, it's going to have to be like 67.20 because I have a feeling that all these things are going to gap up, which is fine. But LXFT, this is a CanSlim quality stock and perfect speculator scan stock. Earnings are actually farther away on 11/10, so this is what I'm doing with this one. 2% for CanSlim quality, 1% for perfect speculator. So LXFT is 3%, EURN is 2%, NHTC is 1%, and then former perfect speculator scan quality stock, CanSlim quality name, ELLI is producing a long signal. It's only a CanSlim name, and it also has earnings on the 28th like NHTC. So once again, this will be a 1% position, but I really like this pattern. I wish earnings were out of the way, because if it breaks above the 50-day moving average and gets near those old August highs, it'll be a pre-perfect speculator scan stock again, and then of course we can really start increasing. But for now, got to play it a little safe, especially with earnings coming up. And then also you could set buy stops on AMWD, CanSlim, perfect speculator, so 2-3% just above the recent highs. I'm going to hold off. I just don't kind of like the overall wedging from the July move. It's not as flat as LXFT. LXFT just has more of a symmetrical, ascending base pattern to it, not so much wedging. And then that's it. So that's it. So yeah, so it's time to, look to be a little bit more aggressive. The NASDAQ 100 switched to an operational buy mode, and it looks like we're immediately following through, so that's a good sign. But still, it'll take probably a pullback, more setups to come and the earnings season to pass before we really can start pushing it on the long side.